Today's class is titled, It Takes Two to Destroy a Marriage. Today's title is, It Takes Two to Destroy a Marriage. We're just going to go over some scriptures going into how things should be, the mysteries of marriage, why the Most High God instituted the way He did. All right, we're going to go over some things that can hinder a marriage from growing and lasting. All right, but I want to start off with this. Give me the book of Sirach, chapter 21, and verse 7. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 7. I really like this precept. All right, watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 7. An eloquent man is known far and near.
All right, so it says an eloquent man is known far and near. All right, so he's known because he's a great orator. He can motivate people. He's eloquent in speech. He carries himself a certain way. Read it again from the top.
An eloquent man is known far and near.
Come on.
But a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth.
Read that last part again.
But a man of understanding knoweth when he slippeth.
Brothers and sisters, you should have enough spiritual awareness to know when you are going off. So, today's topic is, it takes two to destroy marriage. You should always be pointing the blame. You should know when you are guilty. You should know when you are going off. You should know these things. All right, I want to start with Tobit chapter 8 and verse 7. Keep that in mind throughout the whole class. Don't worry about your spouse. Worry about yourself today. Worry about yourself today. All right, give me Tobit chapter 8 and verse 7.
The book of Tobit chapter 8 verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this, my sister, for lust, but uprightly, therefore, mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
That we may become what?
Aged together.
Who can tell me what that means? What does it mean to become aged together? Brother Odinho, what does that mean?
It means to grow old together.
So marriage lasts for how long?
Forever.
Forever. Forever. Y'all hear that? For those who ain't happy, get over it. Marriage is forever.
Feel like this forever, 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 ever, forever, ever.
Even if you got a dragon, even if you got a brother that's weak, don't matter. It says marriage is forever. Read it again.
Tobit chapter 8 verse 7. And now, O Lord, I take not this my sister for lust, but uprightly, therefore mercifully ordain that we may become aged together.
All right, from there, let's go to the book of Mark chapter 10 and verse 2. We're going to read down a little bit. Mark chapter 10 and verse 2. All right? So the Most High is saying what? He says marriage is forever. Marriage is a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, before we even get into it, excuse me, give me that in Ecclesiastes 9 and 9. Ecclesiastes 9 and 9. This was a funny week. It's a funny week. The topic came early. My topics normally don't come to the day of the Sabbath, to be honest. But this particular week, it came Sunday night, a day after the Sabbath. All right? Then I get some phone calls with a bunch of nonsense. Bunch of just straight nonsense. Hearing this from this couple, hearing this from this couple. Like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? Read what you got.
Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 9. Live joyfully with the wife, whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity.
Read that again.
Live joyfully with the wife, whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity.
You see what the Bible's saying? The Bible's saying it's saying live joyfully with the wife all the days of thy youth. All right, meaning what? Vanity means this life is only so long. So we don't have so much time for the bickering and the going back and forth and the hurtful words. We don't have the time for that. Understand what the Bible's saying. A lot of us in this congregation are pretty young. All right, some are aged. It don't matter. This lifetime is only but so long, especially coming into this truth. Now, we're all on the same playing field. Coming into repentance, every last one of us in here are babes. Nobody's been in the truth longer than 6 years in this room, guaranteed. All right, so the scripture is saying, coming into repentance, we ought to live joyfully with our spouses. What I'm talking about, we got people who ain't been married long at all talking about, I can't do this. What do you mean you can't do this? You mean you can't serve God? Is that what you're saying? Brothers and sisters, I really want y'all to focus in on today's class. You have to watch what you say. Every last word that comes out of your mouth will be documented. It will be recorded. You have to understand who you're talking to. You're not talking to ordinary men. These are prophets. You're not talking to ordinary sisters. These are daughters of the Most High God. So we have to do what? We have to be mindful, brothers and sisters. Give me that in Matthew 12. Give me that in Matthew 12. I can't even get into it yet. I'm on a tangent right now. I can't even get into the class yet. All right, read what you got.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 36.
Read it.
But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
You'll have to give an account thereof for that. So I want y'all, brothers and sisters alike, hey, understand what you are doing. If you're saying, I'm leaving, if you're saying, I hate you, I can't stand you, so on and so on, understand. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. So, let's get back to the class. Mark 10 and 2. Mark chapter 10 and verse 2. The sisters are probably like, hey man, enough is enough. We already had a class going in on this. But hey sisters, the men are going to get some too today. It's going to be 50%, 50 on this side, 50 over there. So y'all can smile, sisters. It's okay. Sisters, I love you. Shalom.
Shalom.
Hey, there it is. There you go. Okay. Read what you got.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 2.
Come on.
And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? Tempting him. And he answered and said unto them, What did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement, and to put her away. And Jesus answered and said unto them, For the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept.
It says, for the hardness of your heart, he wrote you this precept. Come on.
But from the beginning of the creation, God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife.
Read.
And they twine shall be one flesh.
One flesh. Read on.
So then they are no more twine, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
It says, for whatsoever God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. All right? Keep that in mind. From there, let's go to the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and 21. Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 21. Brothers and sisters, follow along. Follow along. 5 and 21. All right, read that.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another.
One to another. It says submitting yourselves one to another. Now. Remember last week's class? The wicked sister would say, hey nigga, I told you got to listen to what I say. Because it just says submitting yourselves one to another. Who can tell us what that means? What does it mean? Read it again, Officer Jediah.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 21. Submitting yourselves one to another.
What does that mean? Brother, and tell us.
It means providing for one another. Make sure you treat your wife like you would treat yourself, and your wife will treat herself like you would treat.
That's exactly right. Play a role. That's exactly what it's talking about. Submit yourselves one to another. All right? You have a responsibility as a man to take care of that woman and to treat her according to knowledge. That's your responsibility. That's you submitting yourself unto her, not abandoning your responsibilities. All right? Read on.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
Read.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
Read.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
It says, even as Christ is the head of the church. Read.
And he is the Savior of the body.
Read on.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
And how much?
In everything.
Read on.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Meaning what? You should be able to do the same for your wife. The same example that Christ showed, he took care of the nation. We should do the same for our wives. Read on.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Read.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Read down. Continue.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Read.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord of the church.
All right, so same thing. You want to eat, you have to feed your wife. All right, sometimes you want a break. Give your wife a break sometimes. Say, hey, all right, I'll clean the dishes today. Is that okay? That doesn't mean it's role reversal. That's just saying, sometimes I want a break from work. All right, if I want it, I got to treat my wife the same way. You know what? Hey, let me do this for you. Let me do a kind gesture for you. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, read on.
Verse 30. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
Here's a point.
This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church.
All right, this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ in the church. So in what? All the way till, was it 2018, April 2018, Israelites as a whole, we have still not figured out this great mystery. We still have not accomplished or figured out how to do this 100% perfect just yet. It's a great mystery. Now, when he says he's speaking concerning Christ in the church, let's go to the book of 1 Peter's. 1 Peter's chapter 1. Let me look at it. And verse 10. Watch this. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 10.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 10. Of which salvation the prophets have Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you, searching what or what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify.
So read verse 11 again.
Searching what or what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify.
Which was in them. Who's the them?
Israel.
No. Who's the them? Let me read it for you. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 10. Of which salvation the prophets have inquired and searched diligently, who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you. So it's showing what? Who prophesied of the grace that should come unto you?
The prophets.
The prophets. All right. Verse 11. Searching what? Or what manner of time the Spirit of Christ, which was in them, did signify. Who's the them? The prophets. So when the prophets speak, who is speaking through them? Christ. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 11. Mark, chapter 4, and verse 11. Read that.
The book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 11. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables.
So this is a heavy scripture right here. This is a heavy scripture. Give me Sirach 21 and 11. Now, when it comes to receiving the mysteries of the kingdom of God, those who what? Those are who sincere and truly believe and have the love of the Most High, they will understand. But those who are here on a false pretense, understand what I'm saying? Those who are here on a false pretense, when they read these words, it's literally just words on a piece of paper. They don't understand. It's not spiritual for them. They just read them, but they don't apply them. So when troubles come their way, they do what? They fall out. They retreat. They get mad. They get angry. Because why? Give me that. Read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 21, verse 11. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof.
So if you are sincerely what? Keeping God's laws, yes, you will get the understanding of that great mystery. that great mystery that was spoken of in Ephesians. All right, from there. Actually, give me Deuteronomy 7 and 8 real quick. Give me Deuteronomy 7 and 8. We're going to tie this in. We start getting into it.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people. For ye were the fewest of all people.
Read.
But because the Lord loved you.
Stop. Go back to Mark chapter 10, verse 9. All right, we're going to tie this in together. Mark chapter 10 and verse 9. Hold Deuteronomy 7 and 8.
The book of Mark, chapter 10, verse 9. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Let not man put asunder. So brothers and sisters in the room, understand, the same way God chose the Israelites, there's nothing special about us. All right, but that was ordained of God. It was ordained from the beginning. The same way, the marriages that you are in, guess what? That was ordained from the beginning. That was ordained of God. And the scripture's telling you what? Let no man put asunder. So, don't be the hindrance. You should be focused on what? Building and growing together. Hey, are our spouses annoying? Yes. My wife smacks like crazy. It drives me nuts. But I deal with it because I love her. She's still, she's still my wife. I still love her. I ain't going to say, hey, you smack again. Hey, I'm leaving. What you smacking? I'm just playing. But seriously, she smacks, but I still love her. There's other things I can overlook. So, brothers and sisters, as we go through this class, Lord's will, you can see what? It's not anything special. Who are you? If you can't overlook their shortcomings, how do you expect her to treat you? Or how do you expect him to treat you? Vice versa. That's what this class is about today. All right? So I hope y'all with me. Hope you with me. All right? From there, we're going to deal with the relationship between Israel and the Most High. All right? We're going to start off right there. All right? It's a up and down relationship. All right? The same way how our actual personal relationships are. That's the great mystery. It's that relationship between the church and Christ. Same way we got to reflect on our own households. It's going to be up and down. But at the end of the day, who does God choose? He chooses Israel. So no matter what trial it is between you and your spouse, who are you going to choose at the end of the day? Your spouse. Your spouse. So don't do anything detrimental. Don't do anything to take it to that point where you can't come back together. Like step out and commit adultery. All right? Actually work through it. Actually be kind, affectionate one to another. All right. So, from there, give me the book of Exodus chapter 14 and verse 8. Exodus chapter 14 verse 8. Let me paint the picture for y'all. This is after what? The Most High God sent the plagues. He sent the plagues upon the Egyptians. And the Most High God changed the heart of Pharaoh. He said, all right, you can go. You can go. All right, so this is where we're picking up from. All right, so after the Israelites saw all of these great miracles, all of these great plagues that fell on the face of the Egyptians, this is the spirit they were rolling in. Watch this.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 8. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with a high hand. But the Egyptians pursued after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen, and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea, besides Pihahiroth, before Bethesbon. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptian marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord.
All right, so the children of Israel were headed where? Headed towards the Red Sea. We're trying to get to the promised land. So, the Egyptians, they chased behind us. You would probably have seen this in Prince of Egypt. All right, to give you a little visual, because we weren't actually here. We were, but we don't remember. All right, so Prince of Egypt, you saw that. Pharaoh let us go, then the Egyptians came chasing after us. Now, our people, our forefathers, we got nervous. Now you got to think about this. We literally saw all the great acts. We literally saw the hand of the Most High God work. upon our enemies. And as soon as we saw our enemies coming after us again, we forgot everything. We forgot everything. Now let me relate this with the husband and wife. Right? Now the man, he provides food, clothing, shelter. The righteous man, because I know there's something called niggas. There's something called niggas. I know there's some niggas who ain't doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not stupid. I ain't talking about the nigga. I'm talking about the righteous man. So you got the righteous man who provides for his wife, does what he's supposed to do, and then she acts up and she nigs out on him. So he's like, bruh, you don't remember all this I've done for you? It's the same thing. Read on.
Verse 11.
Come on.
And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
So they're saying to Moses, all right, because the graves was full in Egypt, you're telling us you brought us all the way out here just so we could die. That's the type of mindset they were rolling in. They didn't realize that God was delivering them from captivity. They didn't realize that thing. Read on.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?
Come on.
Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
Wait, read that again.
Is it not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians?
So instead of following the leader, all right, they said, let us stay in Egypt. Similar to what? Those weak-spirited men and those rebellious women. The reason why they don't want to grow in this truth, the reason why they don't want to grow in the scriptures is because they still got America on the brain. You understand that, right? All right, read that verse again.
Is it not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
And that we should die in the wilderness. So, from there, let's go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 8. Visiting the relationship between Israel and the Most High God. All right, Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 8.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 8. And I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
Read.
And it came to pass, through the lightness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land, and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
Come on.
And yet, for all this, her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord.
Read.
And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel had justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
Read.
Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, return.
Do what?
Return.
Read.
Thou backsliding Israel.
So after all that we've done to the Most High God, what is he saying right here?
So they come back.
He's saying come back. He's saying come back. How many times should we forgive each other? 70 times 70. So what example are we following? Where do we get that from? The Most High and His Son Jesus the Christ. Out of all the times we mistreated the Most High God, He's still saying return. That's what He's saying. He's saying come back. Not I'm done with you forever. That's not what He's saying. I'm not doing this anymore. No, that's not what He's saying. He's saying get your mind right and return. Read it again.
Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you.
And when you return, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to be there for you. I ain't going to hold this against you. Read it again.
Return, thou backsliding Israel, saith the Lord, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, saith the Lord, and I will not keep anger forever.
And He will not keep anger forever. So in like manner, brothers and sisters, what should we do? We should forgive one another. We shouldn't be bitter one toward another. We should forgive each other. All right, from there. let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. All right, for you men.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
All right, so it says, brothers, you have to make sure that you are dealing with these sisters according to knowledge. What is knowledge according to the Bible? All right, prove it.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, bro.
Malachi 2 and 7.
Good, let's go there. Malachi chapter 2, verse 7. All right, so this is knowledge according to the law.
The book of Malachi chapter 2 verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth.
They should seek the law at his mouth, just like Brother Court said. Knowledge is the law. Let's go back to 1 Peter 3 and 7.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the weak, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
That your prayers be not hindered. Now, we're going to get into it. Going into that marriage, brothers and sisters, this ain't like the back in the day when they used to promise us off beforehand. Okay, your son is going to marry his daughter, and that's just it. Now, you would think, because we actually choose our wives now, right, that we wouldn't have as much problems. But yet and still, we have nothing but problems. Probably even more. Probably even more today. I'm going to touch this bullet point. And how did I write it? You knew your spouse. No, let's write this. It's like this. You knew who your spouse was before you got married. It says you knew who your spouse was before you got married. So, a lot of brothers and sisters, they call for counsel. Well, she's doing this. He's doing this. It's like, is that a surprise to you? Is that something new, or did you know that beforehand? Sometimes you get the response saying, honestly, I didn't know. Why didn't you know? Because I rushed into marriage, right? Give me the book of Sirach 6 and 7. Give me Sirach 6 and 7. It don't matter if you rushed, you still got to deal with it. You're stuck. I don't know if you know that. You are stuck. All right?
The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first.
Read.
And be not hasty to credit him. For some man is a friend for his own occasion.
Oh, that's a cut. It says some men are a friend for their own occasion. Sometimes, brothers, sometimes sisters, they'll play the part just to get you. Oh, shalom, shalom. They'll play the game. They'll come to the Sabbath, faking the funk, knowing they're not seriously in it, just to get your simple behind. Vice versa. You got the wicked brother. What does it say in Timothy? Lead away silly women captive. They'll play the games. Oh, sister, you're a queen. They'll say all the right things to you for their own occasion, just to get you. Read that verse again.
Sirach chapter 6 verse 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble.
Wow. And will not abide in the day of thy trouble. So as soon as something pop off, as soon as things don't go their way, as soon as a trial comes, I don't know if I can do this. It's not you, it's me. It's me. What do you mean when you say that? I don't know if I can do this. Meaning what? They didn't believe. They didn't truly believe. Because how could you say you're going to give up on your spouse, understanding what the Bible says? There's no way they truly believe these scriptures. All right? From there, let's go to Sirach 19 and 4. And then I got a video for you. All right? I got a video for you. You can laugh a little bit. It's going to be all right. Sirach 19 and 4. Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 4.
Come on.
He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded.
Okay, who can break that down in layman's terms? Brother Odini, what does it mean? Make it plain for us.
When you able to credit somebody like so fast, you simple minded.
Yes, you're stupid. You're dumb. You're simple. That's what the Bible says. Read it again.
He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded.
Light-minded. You're an airhead. That's what it's talking about. You're an airhead. You're simple. Read it again.
He that is hasty to give credit is light-minded.
That's it on that.
And he that sinneth shall offend against his own soul.
You're hurting your own self when you do things like that. All right, the scripture says, don't invite any man into thine house. You don't know what that brother or sister is capable of doing. Now, I got a video. I want you to play this one right here. Yeah, this is going into the bullet point. It says, you knew who your spouse was before you got married. All right, this is one of my, shows. Everybody know the show. What's this right here? Different World. Different World. You got Whitney and Dwayne. They had an argument. All right. I want y'all to pay close attention to what Dwayne is about to say. All right. In regards to you knew your spouse before you were married, because a lot of people, they like to get mad because you're doing these things. But didn't I do this before? Now play the clip.
Your friend. I shouldn't have to blackmail you to help him.
You don't. Listen, you are my woman, and I love you. But if you ever tell me that you are not speaking to me for a week again, I will drop you like a bad habit. Oh, and you know something? I'm not through. I was a serious sports fan before I met you. You knew that then, and you know it now, so please spare me those little 10-minute drop form every time I want to go to a game, okay?
Hold on, pause it. I think they missed it. Who caught it? Who caught it? Let me hear it, brother, and tell us. Rewind it, officer. I want to play it again from the top.
He was basically telling her that you knew me from the beginning before we wasn't married. I'm the same person I was then that I am now.
Right. So why do you have a problem with it? So for example, say men of leadership, right? All right, we do a lot, right? We deal with the people. We got camp. We got councils. We got to travel. We got to study. We got to go to work. So we don't have a lot of free time, right? So here comes the sister. You're always busy. What? Didn't you already know that? Didn't we prove each other? Get out of here with that nonsense. You understand? It's the same thing in its truth. Whether your brother, whether your sister. I learned my wife smacked. I still married her. You know what I'm saying? I can't just say, babe, you need to stop this. I knew she smacked. I dealt with it. I still love her. All right? We gotta stop being so simple. We gotta stop nitpicking. Stop nitpicking and compromise. If it's not sin, we gotta do what? We gotta work together. Realize, you know what? If you're busy, I gotta work around your schedule and try to do what? Compromise and try to spend as much time with you as I can. You understand that? All right, they don't understand. Play it again.
Your friend. I shouldn't have to blackmail you to help him.
You don't. Listen, you are my woman, and I love you. But if you ever tell me that you are not speaking to me for a week again, I will drop you like a bad habit. Oh, and you know something? I'm not through. I was a serious sports fan before I met you. You knew that then, and you know it now, so please spare me those little 10-minute drop form every time I want to go to a game, okay?
I love it when you take charge, Daddy. I am lucky to have you.
Yes, you are, and don't you ever forget it.
I won't forget it.
Pause the clip. All right. All praises. They're laughing. All praises. But you men, a lot of times what you do, you give in to that nonsense. You don't stand up like he did. You understand that thing? Now, this was back in the late 80s, early 90s. Sisters, I ain't gonna lie, sisters have gotten much worse. They're not so submissive. But that doesn't mean anything. You better stand up and take charge of your household.
That's right.
Just get it in check. Whoa, hold on. Seriously right now? You gotta let the sisters know sometimes. You gotta put them in check. Men, so stop being weak. Stop saying, I have to do everything to save this and spare your feelings. No, you don't. That ain't in the scriptures. Stand up, manfully and guide your house. That's what the scripture's commanding you to do. And you sisters, if you knew these men, if you know what they do, don't nitpick at what they do. Compromise and play your role. Fall in line. That's what you need to do. Fall in line. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Proverbs 31 and 3. Proverbs chapter 31 and 3. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
It says, which destroyeth kings. Which destroyeth kings. It says, don't give your strength unto a woman. What you brothers will list, you'll realize this. Women, they try to see what they can get away with. Serious. And these sisters know that. They know that. They're just not saying anything right now. Sisters will try you to see what you allow. And guess what? If you keep allowing it, you've now given your strength to that woman. Meaning what? You can't do nothing with her after a while. Because she runs the show now, not you. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Destroyeth kings. Name a king that was destroyed by giving his strength to a woman. Solomon. King Solomon. All right, from there, let's get the book of Sirach, chapter 47, verse 13. Sirach, chapter 47, verse 13. But Dwayne Wayne, you don't roll like that. All right? Dwayne Wayne takes charge of his house. All right? He rolls in the spirit of our forefather Abraham. All right, read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 47, verse 13.
Come on.
Solomon reigned in a peaceable time, and was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name.
Read.
And prepare his sanctuary forever. How wise wast thou in thy youth, and as a flood filled with understanding.
So he was one of those brothers who came in on fire. All right? Had all the understanding. Like, dang, this brother's fervent. He's diligent. He's doing a great work for the Most High. Read.
Thy soul covered the whole earth, and thou fillest it with dark parables.
Come on.
Thy name went far unto the islands, and for thy peace thou was beloved.
All right, because under him, it was 40 years of peace. All right, his wisdom went throughout the whole world. We had rule over the whole world through King Solomon. Come on.
The countries marveled at thee for thy songs, and proverbs, and parables, and interpretations.
Read.
By the name of the Lord God, which is called the Lord God of Israel, thou didst gather gold as tin, and didst multiply silver as lead.
Showing you the great wealth that King Solomon had in his kingdom. Read on.
Thou didst bow thy loins.
Let's try that again.
Thou didst bow thy...
All right, I'm going to read it. All right, verse 19, it says, thou didst bow thy loins unto women. What does that mean, brothers? What did we just read? What does this mean? Bow thy loins unto women. Brothers, a quote.
He gave his strength unto women.
He gave his strength unto women. All right, when it says bow thy loins, meaning what? All right, children do it. But women try to use this thing for power. They'll try to withhold it from you if they want you to do a certain thing. If they want to try to get you to do something. They'll manipulate. A wicked woman would do that. A wicked woman would manipulate the man. All right, to gain that power over him. It says that was Solomon's what? That was his downfall. All right, that was his vice. It says, thou didst bow thy loins unto women, and by thy body thou was brought into subjection. Meaning what? Now the woman took his place. Now they rule over him. Read on.
Thou didst bow thy loins unto women, and by thy body thou was brought into subjection. Thou didst stain thy honor.
Thou did what?
Thou didst stain thy honor, and pollute thy seed, so that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and wast grieved for thy folly.
So brothers, y'all gotta understand something dealing with y'all. When you do that, when you are weak and feeble amongst these sisters, you're staining your honor. just because people don't say nothing, don't mean we don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Just because you haven't got counsel about it, just because it hasn't been made public, we know. We know who runs the household. You can look at it and see it. All right, so men, don't let that be you. All right, go ahead.
I want to touch on that real quick. Brothers, please take heed to this class. All right, when King Solomon, the wisest man, he failed the women. Adam, the God on the earth, he failed to women. All right, give me first Esdras 4:26. Oh, we first Esdras? I'm in your book.
My book?
We have to take heed to these classes that is coming out, both sides. Women also. Pay attention, listen. All right, it'll save you some heartache. Read that.
The book of 1 Ezra, chapter 4, verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Read it again.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes.
So, a lot of brothers have lost their mind over women. All right. If you go to the prison houses, it's filled with brothers in there because of some woman. Set them up or cheated on them, and then he got emotional and he lost his mind. And with that, his life. All right, go to Proverbs 13:13 real quick. I'll get that to you. Not to the time. Proverbs 13:13.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 13. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed.
All right, I don't know whoever despises what's coming out of this Bible is gonna be destroyed. All right, I know the officer was joking about on the last week's class, but it was a serious class, and it was well needed. All right, a lot of people got cut. All right, a lot of people gotta get cut. By this word for them to change. All right, so we should be constantly seeking that change. So we got to seek the words. Read.
Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed. But he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded.
Read on.
The law of the wise is a fountain of life.
Read.
To depart from the snares of death.
So these words right here, all right, it's going to save you from death. But you got to hearken to it. All right, if you're going through it with your wife and she got the upper hand, take heed to what's coming out of this Bible. All right, gird your loins up. Stand back up, black man.
Right.
Israelite man. Everybody waiting on you. All right, on what you do, so they're going to follow. All right, it's set up that way. But if you're scared and feeble, so we always going to be in this position. All right, I'm going to take heed off this class.
Go to Genesis 18 and 19, going into what officers going into. Just men taking your role as the leaders in the house. All right, we can never go over these scriptures enough because we continue to go through the same problems within the nation. Men have to play their role. Sisters have to play their role. What happens, what leads to divorce, what leads to adultery, is when brothers and sisters aren't playing their roles. All right, that's why today's topic is called, It Takes Two to Destroy Marriage. A lot of brothers always like to say, oh, my wife wicked. Matter of fact, give me that Sirach. Give me that. Before we even go here. They always say, hey, my wife wicked as hell, man. Sirach 26 and 23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
Right, so that means what? It takes two. It takes two. If your wife wicked as hell, guess what? You wicked as hell. Read on.
But a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord.
So if you righteous, your wife gonna be righteous. So brothers, if you a fervent brother, if you do a lot of work, but your wife is still wicked, what are you? I don't think they get it. They didn't get it. So if you pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, but your wife wicked as hell at home, can't shut her mouth, steady embarrassing you, what is you? Wicked. You wicked, because you don't see that you're one flesh. Brothers don't get that thing. You're one flesh. That's what the Bible says. How in the world can you lead men, can you lead a congregation if your wife is the devil? They'd be like, hold on, you bringing out a lot of scriptures, but look at what's going on at home. So guess what? You have to evaluate yourself. For example, when it comes to you men, if these brothers go off, I look at myself. If you brothers, if y'all go up, I always look at myself. That's how you got to do it. So who's under you men? Your wives and your children. Give me that in Sirach, hold on. Or somebody got it. A man may be known by his children. You got it? Yeah, read that. Give me that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 11, verse 28. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children.
A man may be known in his children. And this is actually setting up Genesis 18 really good. Because Abraham, he guided his house. Not just himself, but his wife and his children. If you're not able to see that man as who he is, if you're not sure, look at his wife and look at his children. That's what the Bible's telling you to do. All right, now give me that in Genesis 18 and 19.
The book of Genesis, chapter 18, verse 19.
Come on.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he had spoken of him.
Exactly. That's why the Most High dealt with Abraham, our forefather Abraham, the way he dealt with him. Because he knew what? He would be a good example. He would lead his house. All right, I got another video. Same sitcom. Same sitcom. All right, show the second one. All right, now pay attention. This is the Wayne. This is after they got into an argument. They got into an argument about some furniture. All right, now watch this.
Kimmy, you just wait till it happens to you. I have to give up everything. My style, my taste, my name. What is left? Your foolish pride. My foolish pride has gotten me plenty. I can play that man like Lotto. We all know it. He'll come crawling back on his knees any minute. I have him marching to my tune, okay?
Hey, Whitley.
Hey, Kim.
Hi. Okay, all right. Freddie, you don't talk about my man, and I won't talk about yours, okay?
Case closed.
Fine. Okay.
Okay, let's not talk about it if it's over.
All right.
Whitley, listen to me. I'm not going to spend another night like last night, okay? I can live without furniture. I can't live without you. You're my wife, and I love you. Let's go work this thing out. Come on.
All right, so that brother said what? Even though she was acting crazy, all right, she threw a little temper tantrum, he said, all right, I'm still going to choose you. All right, I'm going to command my house. You're my wife. I'm stuck with you. So guess what? We're going to go work this thing out. Men, that's what you got to do. Don't feed into the bull crap when they're emotional. Don't feed into it. Be rational and realize that, okay, why are we even going through this? We're married. Why are we going through the nonsense for? All right, woman, get your mind right and come on. Now, I know, give me Psalms 4:4. I know there's how can I say this correctly? Coming into this truth, we don't fully know how to apply the laws in certain situations. That takes experience, and over time, you learn how to do it skillfully. Like I said in Sirach, it says, wisdom, raineth down skill. So sometimes, you may need a little moment to get your mind right, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, because you want to prevent from saying the wrong thing. Now, does that mean give silent treatment for hours and days? No, it's not what it means. So I want to clear all that confusion up. I want you to read this real quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 4, verse 4. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed.
It says, stand in awe and sin not. All right? When you are tried, when you want to say the wrong thing, just stand in awe. All right? Just hush your mouth. Sin not. Commune upon your own bed. Think about it. Think about what's going on. Gather your thoughts together. And then deal with each other. That's what we got to do as a people. But coming out of the world, what do? We say the first thing that comes to mind. And it could be some nasty, it could be some very hateful, very hurtful things. And we don't realize what we're saying to the wife of our vanity. All right, that God says to live joyful with. Or to the husband that God says to live in peace with. All right? Give me Tobit chapter 4 and 14. Going into our communication. Going into our conversation with one another. All right, that's very key. All right, because sometimes you say the wrong thing and there's no coming back from it. All right, read what you got.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 14. Let not the wages of any man which hath wrought for thee tarry with thee.
So it says, if a man works for you, if he does labor for you, don't let his wages stay with you. You have to make sure that you pay him. Read.
But give him it out of hand. For if thou serve God, he will also repay thee.
Read.
Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest, and be wise in all thy conversation.
And do what?
And be wise in all thy conversation.
The scripture commands us to be wise in all of our conversation. Using wisdom does not mean saying the first thing that comes to mind. It's saying think about it, commune upon your own bed, get your thoughts together, and then speak. All right, from there, let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 15. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 15. Read what you got.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 15. But as he which had called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
It says, be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Come on.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold, from your vain conversation.
From your what?
From your vain conversation, received by tradition from your fathers.
Received by tradition from your fathers. So brothers and sisters, a lot of you, when trials come or issues arise, you say the first thing that you saw growing up. All right? Or you do the same stuff that you did in the world by the tradition of your fathers, from your kinfolk, as you saw your auntie do to her boyfriend, if you saw your mama do to her husband or her boyfriend, so on and so on. You just automatically regurgitate what you saw. The Bible says not to do that. Coming into repentance and that newness of life, you got to put off that old conversation. You must put off that old conversation. All right, from there, let's go to Sirach chapter 7 and verse 8. Sirach chapter 7 and verse 8. Read that.
The book of Sirach chapter 7 verse 8. Bind not one sin upon another.
Read it again.
Bind not one sin upon another.
What does that mean? In what we're going over right now. Why would I pull the scripture? What does it mean? Brothers and Corey.
It's like somebody doing something wrong to you, you do it right back before.
Exactly. The scripture says we are not to do that. Let's just say, brothers, say your wife get out the spirit and she say the wrong thing. That does not give you leeway to come back and say something hurtful to her. Is that understood? Yes, sir. All right, because that's how you destroy marriage. Going back and forth, railing for railing, insult for insult. And all you're doing, you're destroying the relationship between each other. Showing that what? You actually hate each other. All right? Your children feed off of those same spirits. Your children running around uncontrollably crying. You don't know what's wrong with them because you're putting spirits on them children. You're destroying them. All right? Read it again.
Bind not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished.
All right. Just because they did it, that does not give you leeway to do it. From there, let's go to Peter. It says the same thing. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9.
The book of 1 Peter.
Actually, start at verse 8.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren. Be pitiful. Be courteous.
Read.
Not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing.
When it says railing for railing, it means word for word, going tick for tack with one another. Read.
But contrariwise, blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing.
That ye should inherit a blessing. So, in that time of trouble, you have to do what? You have to be patient with one another. All right, if not, the marriage is going to be ruined. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 15. Going into what Dwayne Wayne said. He says, if you ever say you're not talking to me about something stupid, I'm not dealing with you no more. And a lot of times, sisters, more than often, they do that. All right, they don't talk to their husbands for days at a time. That's unhealthy. There's no way that's correct. The scripture says, those who fear the Lord spake often. All right, showing you what? If you're doing that, you don't really believe this Bible. That's what's going on. You're going on to your own thoughts. All right, read what you got.
Hebrews chapter 12 verse 15. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God.
Come on.
Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled.
It says, and thereby many are defiled, because you're not looking diligently. What are you supposed to be looking diligently at? The day of the Lord. You should be studying. You should be trying to grow daily, constantly. If you're not doing that, what you can allow to happen is that root of bitterness. You can start developing what? Grudges, hatred against your spouse. And by doing that, you have now defiled yourself. All right? From there, let's go to the book of Matthew 24 and 12. Christ warned us of this. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12.
The book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 12.
Come on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Read it again.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
That's exactly what we're seeing in this day of age. Iniquity is running rampant in this wicked kingdom, Babylon or America. All right, and we find ourselves feeding off of that wicked spirit instead of what? Leaning into that which is good, which is God's laws. All right, so we read it again for the top.
Matthew chapter 24 verse 12.
Come on.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
It says the love of many shall wax cold. But read on.
But he that shall endure unto the end.
2 months.
Unto the end.
2 years.
Unto the end.
20 years.
Unto the end.
Come on.
The same shall be saved.
So you have to choose. You have to read these verses and realize which one is you. Which one is you? Are you the one that's going to allow the iniquity of the world to jump on you? And now you don't have the same love for your spouse as you once did. Now it's waxing cold. There's no fire in the relationship anymore. Or you're going to do what? You're going to suck it up and still choose your spouse just like the Most High God still chose us. All right? From there, let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 25 and 24. Proverbs, chapter 25 and verse 24. Let's read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 24.
Come on.
It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman.
Then with the what?
Than with a brawling woman.
So Solomon is saying it's better to dwell on your roof. It's better to live on your roof than to dwell with a brawling woman. What is this talking about, brothers? What is that brawling woman going into? Yes, let me hear you.
A woman that won't take orders. She always want to fight and cause confusion.
You talking about fist fight?
Brawler.
Yeah.
Fight. Words. Both. Words.
All right. Yeah. You're right. Who else? Let me hear somebody else too. Let me hear Soldier Durio.
One that always want to argue with you all the time.
That's correct. One that always want to argue. Give me that in Proverbs 21:9. Proverbs 21:9. The Bible says it's better to live on a rooftop than to deal with a loudmouth woman that's always running her mouth at home. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 9. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house.
In a wide house. It's saying the same exact thing. Saying the same exact thing. All right, from there, let's go to Proverbs 17:1. Actually, go to 1 Timothy's first. All right, so we just dealt with the woman, right? A woman who always likes to argue. Let's find out what Timothy says. 1 Timothy chapter 3 and start at verse 1.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 3 verse 1.
Because it says it takes two to destroy marriage. Not just one, it takes two. So we got to deal with you men too. Read.
This is a true saying.
Come on.
If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, giving to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, nor striker.
It says no striker. Striker's going into fighting, fist fighting with your hands. All right, that's how we know the difference between striker and brawler. The understanding. Read.
Not greedy of filthy lucre.
Read.
But patient, not a brawler.
Not a what?
Not a brawler.
It says not a brawler. So the men, y'all can't be arguing back and forth with your wife. A lot of men like to do that. You cannot be arguing with your wife because you're doing what? You're teaching her a wicked lesson. You're teaching her, well, if my husband does it, if he cusses me out, I got to cuss him back out too. They're the weaker vessel. So you got to set the example. If you ain't in the spirit, be quiet. Be patient. Be a man. Be a man. Don't feed into that bull. All right, the Bible says if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a bishop, you cannot go back and forth with a woman. You cannot do that. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Sirach 25 and 23. All right, and this is dealing with even the strongest man. All right, after a while, it will get to you. Read what you got.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 23.
Come on.
A wicked woman abideth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees.
Maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Meaning what? That's that brawler type of woman who no matter what the situation is, she always got something derogatory, something wicked to say. Always want to go back and forth with her husband. And over time, even that strong brother, that brother who is about the Most High's business, it's going to get to him after a while. You have to understand that thing. A man can only take so much. If he's around his brothers, as soon as he comes home, he got to listen to that nonsense. And this is year after year after year. That's going to break him down eventually. So, it's not just one side. You have to understand, brothers, you got to roll. Sisters, you got to roll. Be that help to your spouse. Brothers, be the example to your spouse. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Proverbs 17 and 1, dealing with some peace. Peace in the house. All right, we always have to provide the solutions. We know the obvious. We know what's going to destroy the marriage, but we got to provide some solutions too. Proverbs 17 and 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 1. Better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith, than an house full of sacrifices with strife.
So it says, better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith. Meaning what? A morsel is a grain of food. It says better is a little food with quietness than a lot of sacrifice, meaning a lot of food with strife. You see that thing? It's saying that will drive you crazy if you are always in the midst of confusion, strife, brawling, so on and so on. From there, let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1. All right, I'll let y'all catch up. I realize we are going kind of fast. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8 and verse 1. But I hope you're listening. I hope you're writing these scriptures down and understand what causes turmoil in the marriage and how to fix it. All right, read what you got.
The book of wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things.
So, brothers, what is the topic of Wisdom of Solomon, the 8th chapter? What's the topic? Wisdom. Wisdom. Read it again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things.
All right, jump up to verse 16.
Verse 16. After I am come into mine house, I will repose myself with her.
With her. All right, Solomon's saying, I will repose myself with her. That's going into what? Wisdom. That's who he's talking about. Read.
For her conversation hath no bitterness.
Read that again.
For her conversation hath no bitterness.
So you sisters, if you still holding on to grudges, if you still speaking ill, that means you have no wisdom. That's what it means. That means that you don't keep the commandments sincerely. That means that you don't study. You lack wisdom. Read.
And to live with her hath no sorrow, but mirth and joy.
Y'all see that? Just like it says in Ecclesiastes 9:9, live joyfully. So when you are in the spirit, when you're living according to wisdom, you have no strife. You have no, what did it say? Going back and forth. Not striker, but what is it? No. In Timothy, we just read brawling. Brawling. Have no brawling. All right? You have no going back and forth. It's peace. It's joy. How it should be. Who wants to have a peaceful house here? I know I do. I know I do. That's why I don't play no games. I don't play games, man. I love my wife, but I don't play. You can't play with her. You cannot play with your children. All right? Because what's going to happen, you're going to give you strength, and they're going to rule over you. When I want things done, they get done. I don't have to argue. I don't have to yell. I don't have to tear down. All I have to do is say it because I mean it, and it gets done. And likewise, you should do the same. All right? We have great examples in our bishops and our deacons. I saw firsthand the way Bishop Kenai runs his house. With all of those kids are in order. His wife is in subjection. Hey, he has that thing on lock. And like man, I said, I need to do the same thing. All right? Follow the example set before you, man. And the best examples is what? These scriptures. All right? All right, from there, let's go to the book of Malachi 3:16. I want to touch on this. This is a basic precept, but it's very heavy. Very, very heavy. Malachi 3:16.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16.
Come on.
Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. And
it says, they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. Now let's put this in a marriage. Let's put this in a marriage. It said they spake often one to another. It didn't say they fleed often. It didn't say they gave them silent treatment often. It didn't say I'm through with this often. No, it said they spake often. What y'all have to understand, communication is the core of any relationship, whether it be on a professional level, whether it be on a brotherly level, whether it be in a marriage. Communication has to be there. When you eliminate communication, what do you have? You don't know each other. You don't have any loyalty to each other. You don't have a bond to each other if you don't communicate. You understand that? Yes, sir. Read it again.
Malachi chapter 3 verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another. And the Lord hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him.
So the same way we speak idle words that are negative, and Most High writes it down, he also records what? When we fight through our battles and remain to speak to, and continue to speak to the righteous. He writes that thing down. It's a book of remembrance. All right, from there, let's go to Colossians 3:8. We almost done. All right, go ahead. All right, Colossians 3:8.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 8. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
Filthy communication out of your mouth. Anything outside of the scriptures. All right, so when you say I'm not talking to you, and you saying I can't do this, when you say I'm leaving, that's filthy communication, brothers and sisters. The Bible commands you to put that thing off. All right, go ahead, officer.
I'm going to use a parable that Ezra used. Yes, I know you guys already.
We know.
Give me 2nd Ezra chapter 10. I'm going to kind of give you guys a little brief story on the whole topic so you kind of know where I'm going with this. This woman who was praying to God for 30 years for a son. And God finally gave her the son. And then later on, once he got married, God put that son to death. So she was mourning and she wanted to kill herself because God took away her son. Now, the mindset, the way she was thinking was very selfish because around the same time, Israel was under captivity. Okay? Read that for me. 2nd Ezra 10, start verse 4.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 10, verse 4. And I do now purpose not to return into the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn and to fast until I die.
She want to kill herself. That's the whole motive. Keep on reading.
Then left I the meditations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Thou foolish woman, above all others, seest thou not our mourning, and what happeneth to us unto us? How that Zion our mother is full of all heaviness, and much humbled, mourning every sore.
Okay, let me put that in perspective. That goes to our brothers here that are a part of working, putting their bricks in for the Most High God. When you look out there, Israel is in the bottom. We are in the worst shape that you could ever imagine. You raising children don't even know what will be good of them if they're not keeping the law. So that is a grievous thing for us to making sure that we put our bricks in. We do as much as we can to those that are awake, because not too many of us, just use Tallahassee for example. This is us right here, and not even that many of us is from Tallahassee. To tell you, the majority of us is out there, and they don't know who they are. This work is heavy. We gotta get serious in this job. And for you to worry about one that you lost, not knowing that the vast of us is dying out there, that's selfish. We have to get out of that mindset. I know it may not be easy, but that's selfish. I'd rather that I die knowing that I'm saving 15, 20, or 30 than worrying about yourself and seeing everybody else is not gonna make it. That's a selfish mentality. That's why I put that precept out. That's it.
So what you're saying is we need to change our focus and stop nitpicking at the foolishness that's going on between the married couples. That's what you're saying. Okay, all praises. I work with that. I like that. Now, we're almost done, but I got to touch 4 more points, but it's real quick. Give me the book of Sirach 30 and 15. Another thing that will destroy marriage is your physical stature. You didn't think I was going to go there, but it's true. It is very true. Brothers, don't you like beautiful women?
Yes, sir.
Don't you like your wife to look beautiful?
Yes, sir.
All right? Because I know they looked over here just to see which brother fell for it. All right? Which brother fell for it. All right? Now, if you met her looking a certain way, and she still looks the same way, you know, hasn't gained too many pounds, all right, you should have no complaints. All right? Now, if you met her, she's 100, okay, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna go there. But you see where I'm going. And she may not look exactly the same anymore. And you got a problem with it, you need to let her know. You need to let her know. Sisters, vice versa. If you like to see your husband look a certain way, you gotta let him know, because that's all you can have. So you might as well, what? Enjoy that thing. All right, read what you got. Sirach 30 and verse 15. I had to choose my words wisely just then. All right. Sirach 30 and verse 15.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30, verse 15. Health and good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body above infinite wealth.
All right, from there, if it's weight, all right, if it's weight, that's easy. Anything can be fixed. That can be fixed for the most part. Give me that in 1 Timothy 4. Give me that in 1 Timothy 4 and 8.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. For bodily exercise profited little, but godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that is now, having promise of the life that now is, and of that which is to come.
All right, so it's showing what? Although it profited little, there is some profit to it. All right, it can make a big change in your marriage. It can make a big change in your marriage. Not so much the nation, like Officer Obadiah was going over, but it can make that big change in your marriage. Give me the one that says, the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. Give me that one. All right, read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance.
Y'all hear that, sisters? It says, the beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. I know what happens in marriage is we get comfortable. I'm teaching to myself too. You know, I wasn't always out of shape. I used to be in shape one day, but you got married and you start, you got a job and you're doing the work and you start making excuses. I don't got time to work out, but I got to get cut right now too. I gotta get back in shape. I don't look the same as when she first met me. So brothers and sisters alike, hey, it's all right to keep up your shape. It's a good thing that keeps the fire in the marriage going. And another thing, sisters, so I'm looking over here, sisters, brothers don't like when how can I say? Just because, sometimes you go into repentance, sisters want, just like Bishop say, they got the Harriet Tubman look going on. Because they don't know how to dress modestly. Sisters, y'all can still look beautiful and get some coordination going. Make it look nice. You just got to put one big boom, just sackcloth. Thank you, officer. You got to put one big sackcloth on and just walk. No. You can coordinate, make it look good. You can do that. We didn't get with you because you didn't look nice. All right? Because if that happened, something's wrong with that, brother. All right? You're with your wives because you like the way they look. So sisters, keep that in mind. Hey, try to look good for them. Even when you're not out in the open, try to look good for them behind closed doors. You got to do that. So what? Because we're trying to build a nation. Right. We're not trying to continue to contribute to the destruction of the marriage. All right? So, almost done. 1 Corinthians 7. Speaking of looking good behind closed doors. All right? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 2.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication.
Fornication, okay. Read that again.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication,
okay,
let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Read on.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
Do benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. All right, due benevolence is going to what? Sex. That's what it's going into. Once again, I made the excuse for working out. A lot of us make the excuse, you get tired sometimes, which it's not an excuse, it's true, but you still have to give due benevolence. I cut myself up too. Sometimes a brother be tired. Before you know it, you sleep. But you cannot allow it to become a habit. We got to do our best to overcome and try.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.